Before we begin, I wanted to speak a little bit about this particular lesson and how it's a practical building block to show how we can develop a taste or ruchi for chanting the holy names and meditating on Krishna. As we've pointed out several times from the beginning of this study of the Rasa Lila, we're following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in the mood of a devotee, and he's come to this world to show us the process by which we can enter into these pastimes. So in this particular Lila, pay attention to how he reads just a few or hears verses about the Rasa Lila amongst his associates, but then in his own internal meditations and bhava, he develops and enters into the Lila. We know when chanting, there are different categories of absorption: nama, rupa, guna, and lila. And this particular pastime exemplifies that progression. So keep that in mind as we read it. Let's go into the texts. This is a short review of the verses from the Rasa Lila, from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 33. Texts 22 and 23 are the only verses. There's only two verses which narrate descriptions of Krishna in the waters of the Jamuna with the gopis. Lord Krishna's garland had been crushed during his conjugal dalliance with the gopis and colored vermilion by the kumkum powder on their breasts. To dispel the fatigue of the gopis, Krishna entered the water of the Jamuna, followed swiftly by bees who were singing like the best of the Gandharvas. He appeared like a lordly elephant entering into the water to relax in the company of his consorts. Indeed, the Lord had transgressed all worldly and Vedic morality, just as a powerful elephant might break the dikes in a paddy field. Text 33. My dear king, in the water, Krishna found himself being splashed on all sides by the laughing gopis, who looked at him with love. As the demigods worshipped him by showering flowers from their airplanes, the self-satisfied Lord took pleasure in playing like the king of the elephants. So let us now read about Lord Chaitanya's meditation on these two verses. Samapriya, do we have some readers? You have to unmute.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Nice to see you here. Nanda, would you like to begin? Oh, Nanda's not reading today, she said.
Yeah, that's okay. I can read.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Especially since you called me just now. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is from Antya Lila, chapter 18, Rescuing the Lord from the Sea. Text 1. In the brilliant autumn moonlight, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mistook the sea for the river Jamuna. Greatly afflicted by separation from Krishna, he ran and dove into the sea and remained unconscious in the water the entire night. In the morning, he was found by his personal devotees. May that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Sachi, protect us by his transcendental pastimes. Text 2, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 3, while thus living at Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu floated all day and night in an ocean of separation from Krishna. During the night of the autumn season, when the full moon brightened everything, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered all night long with his devotees. 5, he walked from garden to garden, seeing the pastimes of Lord Krishna and hearing and reciting songs and verses concerning the Ras Lila. 6, He sang and danced in ecstatic love and sometimes imitated the Ras dance in emotional ecstasy. 7. He sometimes ran here and there in the madness of ecstasy, and sometimes fell and rolled on the ground. Sometimes he became completely unconscious. 8. When he heard Swarup Damodar recite a verse concerning the Ras Leela, or he himself recited one, he would personally explain it as he had previously done. 9. In this way, he explained the meaning of all the verses concerning the Ras Leela. Sometimes he would be very sad and sometimes very happy. 10. To explain fully all those verses and all the transformations that took place in the Lord's body would require a very large volume. 11. So as to not increase the size of this book, I have not written about all the Lord's pastimes, for he performed them every moment of every day for 12 years.
Hey, Krishna, can you explain some of that, Nanda? He performed this every day for 12 years. Why did he perform it? How did he perform it?
He was relishing that mellow of the mood of Radha. That was his whole purpose, one of his major purposes for this incarnation of Lord Chaitanya, to relish the mood of Radha. And we can see that also that last two verses struck me also, how he was, in order for Krishnadas Kaviraj to explain what he did even during that one night, would have increased the volume of the book so much that he refrained from doing it. But we can imagine the just even the summary there compared to the summary of the previous the 10th canto of Krishna's Leela, how he would enjoy the pastimes in the water like a lordly elephant. You can see that he's just like expanding them. He's pulling them out and expanding them. So just by saying he enjoyed like a lordly elephant is one thing, but by seeing Krishna's or hearing of Krishna's pastimes, how he splashed and this and that will come up, it just gives us a clue of how they're ever increasing and eternally manifesting and etc.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Anyone else like to add something to that? Yes, Bhushra.
The Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy was so deep, so intense, that in Puri, they have the pillar where Lord Chaitanya in ecstasy touched the pillar and his fingers went right into the pillar, into stone. An ordinary human being could never do that. Then where he was standing, his feet melted the marble that he was standing on. So later on, they cut that out. And when you enter into the Garuda Stamba on the right-hand side, there's a little area where they have those footprints. And when you look at the footprints, they don't look human because it's like a stick and then a round ball on all the different toes. And it's very strange because I thought that was, when I first saw it in Puri, I thought that was a very strange thing. But the thing is that Lord Chaitanya's foot, they're very big too. They're very big. And so the thing is, an ordinary human being can never manifest melting stone like that. Just Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's how deep the ecstasy was. It wasn't just sentiment. It was deep, deep ecstasy.
Good. Beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else? That's beautiful. Okay. All right, let's go on. Thakur, would you like to read? Thakur, are you there? Okay.
Krishna, dear devotees,
Hare Krishna.
glad to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Okay.
Read loud and clear and slow.
Well, I try with the slowness. Okay, so text 12, as I have previously indicated, I am describing the mad speeches and bodily transformation of the Lord brief. 13, Vananta with his 1,000 hoods. Try to describe everyone days past time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you would find them impossible to describe fully. 14. If Ganesh Lord Shiva's son, an expert scribe of the demigods, tried for millions of millenniums to fully describe one day of Lord's pastimes. He would be unable to find the limit. 15. Could you a little down for me, please?
Sure.
Okay, good. So 15, even Lord Krishna is struck with wonder at seeing the transformations of ecstasy in his devotees. If Krishna himself cannot estimate limits of such emotions, how could others? 16 to 17. Krishna himself cannot fully understand the conditions, the mode of progress, the happiness and unhappiness, and the modes of ecstatic love of his devotees. He therefore accepts the role of a devotee to taste these emotions fully. 18. Ecstatic love of Krishna makes Krishna and his devotees dance, and it also dances personally. In this way, all three dance together in one place. 19. One who wants to describe the transformations of ecstatic love of Krishna is like a dwarf trying to catch the moon in the sky. 20. And the wind can carry away but a drop of water in the ocean. A living entity can touch only a particle of the ocean of love of Krishna. 21. Endless waves arise moment after moment in that ocean of love. How could an insignificant living entity estimate their limits? 22. When a person on the level of Swarup Damodar Goswami can fully know what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tastes in his love for Krishna. When an ordinary living entity describes the pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he purifies himself by touching one drop of that great ocean.
Okay, wonderful. Go back, Pati, to text number 16 and 17. Okay. What do you think of this, Murari Thakur? Krishna himself cannot fully understand the conditions of the modes of the mode of progress, the happiness and unhappiness, and the moods of ecstatic love of his devotees. He therefore accepts the role of a devotee to taste these emotions fully. What is that?
Okay. Yeah, so we understand Krishna is Atmarama, that means he's fully satisfied. But it seems that in the role of Krishna himself, he cannot fully want to relish that sort of happiness. Only in the form of devotee can he, but in the form of the Lord, he does not fully sort of appreciate. But in the role of a devotee, yes, he can understand the sentiment. That's why he came.
Right.
In the role of a devotee to say, hey, this guy has happiness. Let me see who, because he could not feel as Lord, as the Lord, he's kingly, but as a devotee, he can relish the love of, the sentiments expressed by the devotees.
Great. Thank you. Manvantara, thank you, Thakur. Manvantaraji, what did
Is that the same definition that Thakur Murari is just explaining, that where we read earlier that like Mother Lakshmi cannot appreciate the mood of the gopis, and that's why she cannot participate in the role of the rasa dance, because her mood is like on reverence. And
good.
so is it like the same thing, or
Kind of the same thing in the case that she can't really understand it. Who can else comment on that? Pati, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, it's actually mentioned. It's a good point, Manvantara.
Yeah.
It's actually mentioned in that section that the reason she couldn't was because she didn't follow in the mood of the gopis. So in other words, the same principle is here, that in his position as the Lord can't understand the moods of his devotees, so he has to take the mood of a devotee, the position of the devotee. Then he can understand it. because of her nature, Lakshmi couldn't really adopt totally the mood of the gopis, and therefore she couldn't understand it, although she wanted to.
So the basic principle
Good
is
point.
that they couldn't understand the mood because of their position,
Right.
right? Very good, Mamitara. Good to pick that up. Wonderful. Anyone else have something to say about this? Okay, Mukundaji, would you like to read? Nice to see you here, Prabhu. We missed you last time.
Yeah. This is like a super busy time.
Yeah,
Okay, we're at 24.
I think so. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Thus, all the verses about the Ras Lila dance were recited. Then finally, the verse concerning the pastimes in the water was recited. As the independent leader among elephants enters the water with its female elephants, Krishna, who was transcendental to the Vedic principles of morality, entered the water of Jamuna with the gopis. His chest had brushed against their breast, crushing his flower garland and coloring it with red kumkum powder. Attracted by the fragrance of that garland, humming bumblebees followed Krishna like celestial beings of Gandharva. In this way, Lord Krishna mitigated the fatigue of the rasa dance. Purport: this verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-22. Text 26. While thus wandering near the temple of Ayatota, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly saw the sea. Brightened by the shining light of the moon, the high waves of the sea glittered like the waters of the river Jamuna. Mistaking the sea for the Jamuna, the Lord ran swiftly and jumped into the water, unseen by others.
Okay. So please enlighten us about what's happening here.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking the mood of a devotee, and he's describing how devotees in their perfected stage, they can have darshan of the Leelas of Krishna. It's technically called Sarasike Leela. And of course, he's tasting this mood of a devotee with the intensity of the mood of Srimati Radhika. So it's not like the position of an ordinary devotee.
Mhm.
We had in the very beginning of the course discussions on what is Udipan.
Mm.
So when Mahaprabhu was walking and he saw the moon glistening off the waters of the ocean there at Puri,
Good
at that time,
connection.
yes,
Love
at that
it.
time, the
Yeah.
Udipan arose in his heart, and he became absorbed. And he, it's written for our promise that he mistakenly saw the ocean as Jamuna, but actually he entered into the mood of Braj and felt himself to be in Braj and saw the Jamuna. And then he ran and jumped into Jamuna. And in this way, he was also remembering his Leela with the gopis, but he's not remembering I was Krishna associating with the gopis because that would be contrary to the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's thinking at this time how Krishna is enjoying with the gopis and he's in the mood of a devotee.
Nice.
Exactly.
Good.
He's
good
in the mood
build-up.
of the body.
Nice connection with that Udipan. Thank you for that.
Mhm,
Excellent. Anyone else? Thank you, Mukunda.
mhm.
Shall we go on? Okay. Shruti Rupa, my dear friend, would you like to read? Shruti? Give her a minute.
You're very sweet, but I'm actually here just listening if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Okay. How about Faye? Faye, would you like to read? Faye?
Hare Krishna devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Text 29. Falling into the sea, he lost consciousness and could not understand where he was. Sometimes he sank beneath the waves, and sometimes he floated above them. 30. The waves carried him here and there like a piece of dry wood. Who can understand this dramatic performance by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? 31. Keeping the Lord sometimes submerged and sometimes afloat, the waves carried him towards the Konarka temple. Purport. Konarka, generally known as Arka Tirtha, is a temple of Lord Shura, the sun god. It is situated on the seashore, 19 miles north of Jagannath Puri. It was constructed of black stone in the beginning of the 13th century of the Shaka era, and it shows expert craftsmanship and architecture. 32. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, fully merged in the pastimes. Lord Krishna performed with the gopis in the water of the Jamuna. 33. Meanwhile, all the devotees, headed by Sharup Damodar, lost sight of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Astonished, they began searching for him, asking, "Where has the Lord gone?" 34. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had run off at the speed of the mind. No one could see him. Thus everyone was puzzled as to his whereabouts. 35. Has the Lord gone to the temple of Jagannath, or has he fallen down into the madness of some garden? 38. Perhaps
36.
sorry, thank
Go
you, Mataji. 36. Perhaps he went to the Gandhika temple, or to Lake Narendra, or to the Kataka Parvata. Maybe he went to the temple at Konarka. 37. Talking like this, the devotees wandered here and there looking for the Lord. Finally, they came to the shore, accompanied by many others. 38. While they were searching for the Lord, the night ended, and thus they all decided, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has now disappeared. 39. In separation from the Lord, everyone felt as though he had lost his very life. The devotees concluded that there must have been some mishap. Thus, they could not think of anything else. 40. A relative or intimate friend is always fearful of some injury to his beloved. Purport. This is a quotation from
Abhikan. Abhikan.
Abhikan Sukuntala Nataka.
Good. Okay. That is a very profound section. What do you think about that last line, Faye? A relative or intimate friend is always fearful of some injury to his beloved. What does that indicate? What does that indicate about the relationship between the Lord and his devotees?
It's a very loving one. They were very concerned because they loved Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much that they were devastated and confused and concerned and worried. The ocean is very vast, and here he's disappeared from sight.
Anyone else have something?
Anybody want to talk about that principle? Maybe an experience? We've all felt it, I think. What was the verse again? That a relative or intimate friend is always fearful of some injury to his beloved. When we're in separation from someone we care about, it's natural to think that some mishap might have happened to them.
We've all experienced that, I think. Mukunda and then Bahushra, do you want to say something, Mukundaji?
Yes, this is one of the elements in Prem. It's called Sanka Amangala. It's prominent in Vatsalya Rasa, but it's obviously existing Madhurya Rasa as well. It's like anytime that, especially in parental love, if your child will disappear from your vision even for a moment, we always think the worst has happened. So it's called Sanka, means that Amangal, something inauspicious is happening.
Yeah, it's also it's prevalent, I think, in other rasas.
Yes, also,
Well,
yeah.
Very.
In Madhurya Rasa, All the
Really?
other features of rasa are present in Madhurya Rasa.
Yeah, this is very wonderful. Thank you, Mukundaji. Bahushra?
Just like when Lord Chaitanya, when he would dance in the kirtan party on the
Oh,
Rath Yatra cart, he was like a firebrand. So then just imagine him being in the ocean as a firebrand going through the waves, up and down, up and down. What a sight to see.
that is something. Wow. Patti? You want to say
No, we
something?
covered it. All right,
Okay.
beautiful.
Well, we were wondering who is going to be reading this next section, because you have to do, it's like a dramatic reading, Bahushra. It's all yours.
Uh-oh.
This is a great section. You got the fisherman. Go on.
For text 41, when they
Yeah.
arrived at the seashore, they conferred among themselves. Then some of them sought out Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Put it up a little, please. At Chataka Parvat, text 42. Sri Damodar proceeded east with others, looking for the Lord on the beach or in the water. Text 43. Everyone was overwhelmed with moroseness and almost unconscious, but out of ecstatic love, they continued to wander, excuse me, here and there, searching for the Lord. Text 44. Passing along the beach, they saw a fisherman approaching with his net over his shoulder, laughing, crying, dancing, and singing. He kept repeating the holy name, Hari Hari. Text 45. Seeing the activities of the fisherman, everyone was astonished. Sri Damodar Goswami therefore asked him for information. Text 46. My dear fisherman, he said, why are you behaving like this? Have you seen someone hereabouts? What is the cause of your behavior? Please tell us. Text 47. The fisherman replied, I have not seen a single person here, but while casting my net in the water, I captured a dead body. Text 48. I lifted it with great care, thinking it a big fish. But as soon as I saw that it was a corpse, great fear arose in my mind. Text 49. As I tried to release the net, I touched the body, and as soon as I touched it, a ghost entered my heart. Text 50. I shivered in fear and shed tears. My voice faltered, and all the hairs on my body stood up. Text 51. I do not know whether the corpse I found was the ghost of a dead Brahmana or an ordinary man. But as soon as one looks upon it, the ghost enters his body. Text 52. The body of the ghost is very long, 5 to 7 cubits. Each of its arms and legs is as much as 3 cubits long.
Stop there just for a second. Anybody know how long a cubit is?
No.
A cubit is the distance between your elbow and your end of your hand. It's approximately 18 inches.
You know, also we don't have to read every time text,
Yeah.
because sometimes we're getting absorbed in it. You don't have to
Yeah,
read text.
I agree.
Go on.
Its joints are all separated beneath the skin, which is completely slack. No one could see it and remain alive in his body. That ghost had taken the form of a corpse, but he keeps his eyes open. Sometimes he utters the word gon gon, and sometimes he remains unconscious. I have seen that ghost directly, and he is haunting me. But if I die, who will take care of my wife and children? The ghost is certainly very difficult to talk about, but I am going to find an exorcist and ask him if he can release me from it. I wander alone at night, killing fish in solitary places, but because I remember the hymn to Lord Nrsimha, ghosts do not touch me.
Yeah.
This ghost, however, overcomes me with redoubled strength when I chant
Hare Krishna.
this Nrsimha mantra. When I even see the form of this great, great fear arises in my mind.
Do not go there. I forbid you. If you go there, that ghost will catch you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. I knew you would get into it. Hare Bo, thank you. Okay, what is that? What is that? Okay. this is the perfection of what we're doing, Bahushra. It is the perfection. Now you're going to make everyone start to cry. This is what we want here. Go deep into the. Patti, you explain this whole
One
thing.
of the interesting features, we lived in Puri from 1992 until 2013, the better part of 20 years. And the fishermen there are a very big part of the culture. A lot of people eat fish in Orissa and Bengal, and a lot of them come from Andhra Pradesh now. But just note that this particular fisherman, when he got into difficulty, he thought of Lord Nrsingadev, he thought of Lord Jagannath. He'll mention in the future verses that he had seen Lord Chaitanya in the temple. So it's not that these people are like demon fishermen, they're fallen, they're fish eaters, but this particular fisherman is getting the direct mercy of the Lord. So they're a special breed of people. The people in Orissa out of all the different states in India is one of the poorest. But the temple Saivites, simple living, high thinking, they have such love for Lord Jagannath, even though their etiquette, their dress, their business acumen might not be the most refined. They're very wonderful, loving devotees. So here we see that this fisherman, he's completely overwhelmed by his direct contact with the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Patti, why don't you read the next section?
I'm
Oh,
going to read
Mukundaji.
I'm going to read a later one, Sama.
Okay,
Mukunda has
Mukunda?
something here.
Do you have something to say, Prabhu?
Yeah, this is a really, really very amazing section here.
Yeah.
First, I very much appreciated what your good husband was mentioning, because we have to remember that Vishavasu, who discovered the deity of Nilamadav, was a hunter and fisher.
Yeah.
But he was worshiping Nilamadav very deeply. So, but also in this section, what's being described is something called Yavarashraya Vritti, is that when love in the heart of Radhika becomes very, very high, it exerts her heart and it touches those who are nearby. Normally in Ujjwal and Money, it says that those persons are very qualified persons. But Mahaprabhu's Leela is so merciful,
Oh,
it was touching everyone, even someone who would purportedly be very fallen according to material estimation. So that person couldn't understand what was happening. He thought he was possessed by a ghost. And Bahushra Prabhu became very stimulated by realizing the idea that even when he would chant the name of Nrsingadev or Jagannath, because they're also names of Mahaprabhu ultimately, that the intensity of what he experienced, as Yavarashraya Vritti means literally a vicarious experience of the mood happening in that person, it would double in intensity. You understand? This is Mahaprabhu's great mercy.
wonderful. Also, the fishermen, these are still devotees. These are great devotees. Anyone in contact with Lord Chaitanya is a great devotee, but he is what a wonderful part to play in this process. Okay, you know what? I want to read the next section, so I'm going to have Mukunda read, if you would read the next section. It's so dramatic. It's like it's the Lord everything the Lord does is dramatic, but this is really. So do it with feeling, Prabhu.
61?
60.
60. Hearing this, Swarup Damodar could understand the full truth of the matter. He spoke sweetly to the fisherman. I am a famous exorcist, he said, and I know how to rid you of this ghost. He then chanted some mantras and placed his hand on the top of the fisherman's head. He slapped the fisherman 3 times and said, now the ghost has gone away. Do not be afraid. By saying this, he pacified the fisherman. The fisherman was affected by ecstatic love, but he was also fearful. He had thus become doubly agitated now that his fear had subsided. However, he had become somewhat normal. Swarup Damodar said to the fisherman, my dear sir, the person you are thinking is a ghost is not actually a ghost, but it is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of ecstatic love, the Lord fell into the sea, and you have caught him in your net and rescued him. Simply by touching him has awakened your dormant love for Krishna. But because you thought him a ghost, you were very much afraid of him. Now that your fear is gone and your mind is peaceful, please show me where he is. The fisherman replied, I have seen the Lord many times, but this is not he. His body was very much deformed. Sarup Damodar said, the Lord's body becomes transformed in his love for God. Sometimes the joints of his bones separate. His body becomes very, very much elongated. Hearing this, the fisherman became very happy. He brought all the devotees with him and showed them Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Ah, wow. What a, okay, tell us something. This is such an
So,
ecstatic pastime.
Again, we go back to the original classes we had. He saw the Astasattvic Vikar in the body of Mahaprabhu. What fortune can be said of this fisherman? And then coming in contact with that body, Yavarashraya Vritti, the mood and the heart of Mahaprabhu touched him according to his adhikar. He became transformed, and he himself was experiencing vicariously in his own body parts of the ecstasy of Mahaprabhu. Because he could not understand it, Swarup Damodar rendered mercy to him by saying, oh, I'm an exorcist, I'm very expert at this. And then by slapping him, he thought he had gone through a process. It didn't really remove the ecstatic symptoms. It only calmed him down.
Sure.
Enough for him to show where Mahaprabhu was.
Of course. See, he was a simple devotee, but he chanted the Shringadev prayer every night. I mean, totally dependent, totally sure that the Lord would take care of him. This is a devotee. This is in Jagannath Puri. This is not an ordinary soul. I wonder what his position is in the spiritual world.
Also, we don't know what is like I said, previous lives of this soul. What is his situation?
No, we don't. That's very wonderful. Very fortunate. Anyone else? Bushra, would you like to comment a little, Prabhu? Are you able to? Has your ecstasy subsided a bit?
No, it's just, I'm just meditating.
Okay, good. Okay,
these Astasattvic Vikars of Mahaprabhu, they're not like the ones that would take place even in a perfected jiva. They are called Sudipta Astasattvic Vikar. There's different levels in intensity. The highest level is called Sudipta. And this was the body of Mahaprabhu.
And what would Sudipta mean, Mukunda?
The stages of ecstasy, they go in degrees. Jwali means that it's lit. I mean, Dhyumite means it's smoking. Jwali means it's lit. Dipta means it's like slightly blazing. Udipta means it's fully glowing. And Sudipta manifests only in Radhika. And it's when it's fully blazing, all 8 Sattvika Vikars can come at one time fully.
Wow. Thank you. Thakur, you have something to say, Prabhu?
Yes, quickly.
Slowly. Don't say it quickly. Say it slowly. We want to hear it thoroughly.
I'm trying. So, when Sarup Damodar explained that it was Lord Chaitanya, the fisherman said no, because he had seen Lord Chaitanya many times. Yes, Dhruva Prabhu might have said that. Yes, so he said no, it couldn't be him because he had seen him many times. So Sarup Damodar explained that when the Lord is in that mood, there's some change in his body, features.
Nice point. To the point where he was unrecognizable.
Right.
He didn't recognize it was the same person even.
That's a big point.
I've seen him many times, yes.
It's a big point. Sometimes the Lord reveals this part of himself to others, and sometimes he doesn't. Now this fisherman is saying, I have seen the Lord many times, but I have never seen this part of the Lord, which means he got the mercy. He saw this part of the Lord.
It's also so significant because he's saying he's seen Mahaprabhu many times.
Right.
Yes.
So he's gotten that darshan of Mahaprabhu many times. And so Mahaprabhu is giving him a special mercy like this. Because it doesn't mention, but there's indication he saw Mahaprabhu many times. What was his feelings when he saw Mahaprabhu?
Ordinary, or so to speak.
On a regular basis, he was feeling, this is such a beautiful person.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sweet person. You understand?
Blazing. Yeah. This one was blazing, right? Yes. Blazing. Very good. Excellent.
He was a golden giant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a golden giant when they found him.
Hare Krishna. Shall we go on, Pati?
Yes.
Okay, Manvantara, would you like to read?
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Text 71. The Lord was lying on the ground, his body elongated and bleached white by the water. He was covered from head to foot with sand. The Lord's body was stretched, and his skin was slack and hanging loose. To lift him and take him to the long to lift him and take him the long distance home would have been impossible. The devotees removed his wet undergarments and replaced it with a dry one. Then, laying the Lord on the outer cloth, they cleaned the sand from his body. They all performed Sankirtan, loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna into the Lord's ear. After some time, the sound of the holy name entered the ear of the Lord, who immediately got up, making a great noise. As soon as he got up, his bones assumed their proper places. With half external consciousness, the Lord looked here and there. The Lord remained in one of the three different states of consciousness at all times: internal, external, and half external. The Lord remained in one of the three different states of consciousness. I'm sorry. When the Lord was deeply absorbed in internal consciousness, but he nevertheless exhibited some external consciousness, devotees called his condition Ada Banya, or half external consciousness. In this half external consciousness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talked like a madman. The devotees could distinctly hear him speaking to the sky. Seeing the river Yamuna, he said, I went to Vrindavan. There I saw the son of Nanda Maharaj performing his sporting pastimes in the water. Lord Krishna was in the water of the Yamuna in the company of the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani. They were performing pastimes in great sporting manner. I saw this pastime as I stood on the bank of the Yamuna in the company of the gopis. One gopi was showing some other gopis the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the water.
Ah, whoa, what a vision. What would you like to say about this, Manvanchara? Anything? What strikes you?
It sounds like it was said when, but it's showing that Lord Chaitanya was completely absorbed in the mood of Vrindavan, like Mukunda Prabhu said, and obviously Radharani's mood, and observing all this pastimes in that same way, and just completely identified with it. Is it the same thing, though, now that I'm speaking out loud, that the gopis were doing when they were looking for Krishna or searching for Krishna, when they became Krishna? Like they were like, walking like Krishna, talking like Krishna, you know what I mean? And then they became like Krishna. Is that the same kind of thing or no?
I don't think that was being indicated here.
Okay.
Lord Chaitanya is very, very humble in he is feeling, I think, Dasyabhav at this. He is just observing. He's observing in this mode. He's not participating. He's of course in all the different feelings of ecstasy are exhibited in his body, but he is very humble in his approach. He is not only experiencing this, but he is teaching us how to approach Shri Radha and Krishna in their most intimate pastimes. He's showing us by his example. So he's not thinking, well, he is taking on this mood of a very, very humble devotee. And we see in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya that Dasyabhav is the big one from the devotee's angle of vision to Lord Chaitanya. No one thinking of the Madhurya Bhav in relation to Lord Chaitanya. Isn't it, Mukunda? Yes.
Yeah, statement true. We don't look at Mahaprabhu and Madhurya Bhav. So you're correct.
Yeah.
It's a special kind of dasharas. But he's also demonstrating what happens in the perfection of a devotee, because Mahaprabhu's Leela is a Leela that teaches the devotee the unfolding process in bhakti.
Hmm.
So this is called Seva Sarika Rupena Siddha Rupena Chatrahi. It means that he's seeing in his Siddha Rup the Leela of Radha and Krishna in the Jamuna doing their Ras Leela pastime. Then he comes to a mid-consciousness called Ardbhaya Dasa, in which he's half internal, half external. Wonderful story. Srila Prabhupada in Atlanta, devotees remember this story that he was getting ready to give Bhagavatam class, and he began chanting Jai Radha Madhava and entered into Antradasha. Means he entered into internal consciousness, and devotees didn't know if it was a medical condition, they didn't know what was happening. Some few minutes later, Srila Prabhupada came back to external consciousness, which is called Bhayadasa, and said, just chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this story. So
Yeah,
these are the three
wonderful.
stages that happen in the position of a sadhaka, a practitioner. If you're perfected, you have the external consciousness, half internal, half external, and then sometimes you're completely internally absorbed. So he's demonstrating that in this pastime.
Good. Yeah. Wonderful.
Just
Thank
to elaborate a little bit on Manvantara's question about the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, comparing it to the gopis. Sami, you explained it a bit, but the verses themselves also reveal that he's not really in that same mood at all. Lord Krishna was in the water of the Jamuna in the company of the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani. They were performing
Right.
pastimes in great sporting manner. I saw this pastime as I stood on the banks of the Jamuna in the company of the gopis. One gopi was showing some other gopis the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the water. So he's actually in a non-participant observing and serving mode, as we'll see as the pastime evolves. Let's have somebody else read now.
Okay. Sudha Sindhu? Sudha Sindhu, are you there? She was.
Yes,
Hare Krishna. Nice to
Hare
see
Krishna.
you again. Why don't
Yeah,
you
Hare
read,
Krishna.
okay?
Yeah, that's 83 onwards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, text 83.
Yeah. All the gopis entrusted their silken garments and ornaments to the care of their friends and then put on fine white cloth. Lord Krishna, taking his beloved gopis with him, bathed and performed very nice pastime in the water of Yamuna. My dear friends, just see Lord Krishna's sporting pastimes in the water. Krishna's restless palms resemble lotus flowers. He is just like the chief of a mad elephants, and the gopis who accompany him are like she-elephants. The sporting pastimes in the water began, and everyone started splashing water back and forth. In the tumultuous showers of water, no one could be certain which party was winning and which was losing. This sporting water fight increased unlimitedly. The gopis were like steady streaks of lightning, and Krishna resembled a brackish cloud. The lightning began sprinkling water upon the crowd, and the cloud upon the lightning. Like thirsty Chataka birds, the eyes of the gopis joyously drank the nectarian water from the cloud. As the fight began, they splashed water on one another. Then they fought hand to hand, then face to face, then chest to chest, teeth to teeth, and finally nail to nail. Thousands of hands splashed water, and the gopis saw Krishna with thousands of eyes. With thousands of legs, they came near him, and they kissed him with thousands of faces. Thousands of bodies embraced him. The gopis' heart heard his choking words with thousands of ears. Krishna forcibly swept Radharani's sway away and took her into water up to her neck. Then he released her where the water was very deep. She grabbed Krishna's neck, however, and floated on the water, just like a lotus flower plucked by the trunk of an elephant. Krishna expanded himself into as many forms as there were gopis and then took away all the garments that covered them. The water of the Rima Jamuna was crystal clear, and Krishna saw the glittering bodies of the gopis in great happiness. The lotus stems were friends of the gopis, and therefore helped them by offering them lotus leaves. The lotuses push their large round leaf over the surface of the water with their hands, the wave of the Yamuna, to cover the gopis' bodies. Some gopis undid their hair and kept it in front of them as dresses to cover the lower portions of their bodies, and used their hands as bodhishas to cover their breasts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you want to say something about this, Sudha?
No, but it refreshed my memory again from my previous reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Good. That's what we have to do constantly here over and over again, because every time we do, then it gets more clear to us, the Lord's pastimes. Anyone else would like to comment on this? This is a nice section.
This reminded me of last week's reading where we read that Krishna expanded himself and engaged intimately with each and every gopi. And it was described that he started also expressing different anubhavas, vyabhichari bhavas, sattvika bhavas. He started sweating and changing color in his ecstasy. And as we read this verse, it shows that that also took place here with the gopis. Thousands of hands splashed water, and the gopis saw Krishna with thousands of eyes. With thousands of legs, they came near him, and they kissed him with thousands of faces. Thousands of bodies embraced him. The gopis heard his joking words with thousands of ears. So you may remember that we discussed how in the beginning of the Rasa Lila pastime, in the very first verse, it was described that once Krishna had a desire to enjoy with the gopis. Now this is another example of how the Yogamaya potency is manifesting in such a way that it is fulfilling his desires, even though he's Atmarama, self-satisfied. Mukunda?
Haribo Puji, in the interest of time, maybe should I wait till a little bit at the end so we get through the reading?
Sure, if you
I'll
want
make
to.
a comment.
I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll wait a little bit till we finish, so we make sure we finish the reading.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we, anyone else? Shall we go on now? Okay, Bahushra.
Just a quick one about the lotus flowers, how they were accommodating the gopis and making themselves available. You could just imagine all the lotus flowers kept expanding, because if there's thousands and thousands of millions of gopis, and the lotus flowers had to keep increasing to become assistants to the gopis for the pastime.
Yeah, and also, assistance. Wonderful. Protecting them from Krishna. Okay. All right. Nanda, you want to read one more time? Nandaji? I'll wait 1 second to see.
Sure. Okay.
Good.
All right. Then Krishna quarreled with Radharani, and all the gopis hid themselves in a cluster of white lotus flowers. They submerged their bodies up to their necks in the water. Only their faces floated above the surface, and the faces were indistinguishable from the lotuses. In the absence of the other gopis, Lord Krishna behaved with Srimati Radharani as freely as he desired. When the gopis began searching for Krishna, Srimati Radharani, being of very fine intelligence and thus knowing the situation of her friends, immediately mingled in their midst. Many white lotus flowers were floating in the water, and as many bluish lotus flowers came nearby. As they came closer, the white and blue lotuses collided and began fighting with one another. The gopis on the bank of the Jamuna watched with great amusement. When the raised breast of the gopis, which resembled the globe-like bodies of the Chakravaka birds, emerged from the water in separate couples, the bluest lotuses of Krishna's hands rose to cover them. The hands of the gopis, which resembled red lotus flowers, arose from the water in pairs to obstruct the bluish flowers. The bluish lotus lotuses tried to plunder the white Chakravaka birds, and the red lotuses tried to protect them. Thus, there was a fight between the two. The blue and red lotus flowers are unconscious objects, whereas Chakravakas are conscious and alive. Nevertheless, in ecstatic love, the blue lotuses began to taste the Chakravakas. This is a reversal of their natural behavior. But in Lord Krishna's kingdom, such reversals are a principle of his pastimes. The blue lotuses are friends of the sun god, and though they all live together, the blue lotuses plunder the Chakravakas. The red lotuses, however, blossom at night and are therefore strangers or enemies to the Chakravakas. Yet in Krishna's pastimes, the red lotuses, which are the hands of the gopis, protect their Chakravaka breasts. This is a metaphor of contradiction, just to make sure you're paying attention. Hare Krishna. You want me to read the purport?
Yeah, please.
Okay, all right. Because the blue lotus flowers blossom with the rising of the sun is the friend of the blue lotuses. The Chakravaka birds also appear when the sun rises, and therefore the Chakravakas and the blue lotuses meet. Although the blue lotus is a friend of the sun, in Krishna's pastimes, it nevertheless plunders their mutual friend, the Chakravaka. Normally, Chakravakas move about, whereas lotuses stand still. But herein, Krishna's hands, which are compared to the blue lotuses, attack the breasts of the gopis, which are compared to the Chakravakas. This is called reverse analogy. At night, the red lotus blooms, whereas in the sunlight, it closes. Therefore, the red lotus is an enemy to the sun and is unknown to the sun's friend of the Chakravaka. The gopis' breasts, however, are compared to Chakravakas and their hands to red lotuses protecting them. This is a wonderful instance of reverse analogy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, in his pastimes, Krishna displayed two ornaments of hyperbole and reverse analogy. Tasting them brought gladness to my mind and fully satisfied my ears and eyes.
Oh, my
Sheesh.
goodness. Whoa.
Yep, that's what I have to say. Whoa.
Oh, that's very revealing.
It's
Very
very
deep.
revealing how what just taken as what you read without understanding the reds were the gopis' hands and
Yeah.
the Chakravakas were their breasts. But just reading this thing, that's an interesting enough analogy. But then reading it and putting it together, who's who and what's the red and what's in the blues are Krishna's
Oh,
hand,
beautiful.
and then adding the reverse analogy part, the things that are usually stationary become moving, and things that are moving or alive are described as inert. It only takes a great soul to think of something
Very
like that
good.
and wrap it all around Krishna's pastimes,
Yeah.
The
Krishna
devotees
Das
are
Kaviraj.
amazing. Yeah.
Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai.
Hey, Jai.
It's
Yeah.
really wonderful that we're exposed to this kind of thing. And that's why it's really important for us to read these books and go deep into our chanting. At this point, most of us are, it's now or never. So
We're in the exit line.
we're on the exit line and we're getting closer. So, this is what we should be. So we're fortunate to sit with each other like this and delve deep into the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Recently, I've been meditating on the six Goswamis. I never thought we think of the six Goswamis sometimes, but the six Goswamis, the Lord has come with his devotees in forms that we can identify with. I don't feel threatened by the six Goswamis. They're such wonderful personalities, and they're teaching the highest transcendental love. It's just approachable. It's approachable to Lord Chaitanya and his associates. All of this is approachable. Otherwise, it's not so approachable. Mukunda, do you want to say something? Why don't you say something now?
Yeah. So I was going to mention one of the ways to understand how Mahaprabhu's Leelas unfold is that in the very beginning, obviously in his childhood pastimes, there's a certain mood. After he goes, then he performs his scholarly pastimes. Then he goes to Gaya, takes initiation from Ishwara Puri, comes back, he's starting his devotional pastime. Then that becomes intensified. He takes sannyas, leave home, goes to Puri. Now he's in ecstasy and he's traveling and he's actually preaching as well throughout all of South India. It culminates in his meetings, Ramananda Roy Godavari in South India. He hears all these things. He becomes completely absorbed in the mood of Radhika, but he keeps suppressed. He's acting as a devotee still. In the Antya Lila, the ecstasies as a result of that start to manifest. In the 19th chapter of the Antya Lila, Jagadananda Pandit will go to Navadvip to take a message. He meets with Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya gives him two secret
Oh,
poems.
God.
And
Hare
those
Krishna.
two secret poems he brings back and tells Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu realizes it's time to close his pastime. He spends
Hare
the
Krishna.
next years in the Gambhira, fully now absorbed in the mood of Radhika that she had at Uddhav when Krishna left to go to Vrindavan. So he finally, starting from chapter 19 into 20, when he tastes the Shishashtakam, which he had earlier written, he's absorbed in the mood of Radhika at Uddhav.
Oh, my God.
I just wanted to give the crumb so you understand. I would understand. Yeah.
Somehow I don't like to hear that last part. But anyway, we're still associating with him. He is
Yes.
so kind, and the devotees are so kind to. This helps us to associate with the Lord and even experience his pastime of leaving. You know, this is transcendental knowledge. This is spiritual knowledge. No mundane literature or discussions about anything that have to do with this world can make this kind of emotion erupt in the heart. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Pati, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay, so because we're going to go to the next reading here, and you said you're going to read the section.
Yeah, because there's a lot of names here that are.
Okay, did you want to say something other? Okay, so why don't you take
After
over?
performing such wonderful pastimes, Lord Sri Krishna went onto the shores of the Jamuna River, taking with him all his beloved gopis. Then the gopis on the riverbank rendered service by massaging Krishna and the other gopis with scented oils, smearing the paste of amalaki fruit on their bodies. Then they all bathed again, and after putting on dry clothing, they went to a small jeweled house where the gopi Vrinda arranged to dress them in forest clothing by decorating them with fragrant flowers, green leaves, and all kinds of other ornaments. In Vrindavan, the trees and creepers are wonderful because throughout the entire year they produce all kinds of fruits and flowers. The gopis and maidservants in the bowers of Vrindavan picked these fruits and flowers and brought them before Radha and Krishna. The gopis peeled all the fruits and placed them together on large plates on a platform in the jeweled cottage. They arranged the fruit in orderly rows for eating, and in front of it they made a place to sit. Among the fruits were many varieties of coconuts and mangoes, bananas, berries, jackfruits, dates, tangerines, oranges, blackberries, santaras, grapes, almonds, and all kinds of dried fruit. There were cantaloupes, shirakas, palm fruits, keshuras, water fruits, lotus fruits, bales, pilus, pomegranates, and many others. Some of them were variously known in different places, but in Vrindavan, all of them are always available in so many thousands of varieties that no one can fully describe them. At home, Srimati Radharani had made various types of sweetmeats from milk and sugar, such as Ganga Jal, Amrita Keli, Payusa Granti, Karpura Keli, Sarapuri, Amriti, Padmachini, and Kandak Shirkshara Kriksha. She had brought them all for Krishna. When Krishna saw the very nice picnic arrangement of food, he happily sat down and had a forest picnic. Then, after Srimati Radharani and her gopi friends partook of the remnants, Radha and Krishna lay down together in the jeweled house. Some of the gopis fanned Radha and Krishna, Others massaged their feet, and some fed them betel leaves to chew. When Radha and Krishna fell asleep, all the gopis also lay down. When I saw this, my mind was very happy. But Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas described that this mood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in was one of a manjari, a servant of the gopis. It's not that he's actually partaking in their particular exchanges with Krishna in this particular pastime. He's not even in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Obviously, he's reading about Srimati Radharani. He's meditating or seeing in his envision that she had brought some sweetmeats and they were all being served by this. Actually, he's only an observer. It doesn't mention that he actually partook and did anything. He's simply witnessing. So as I mentioned earlier in my introduction to this lesson, each lesson is like a building block, and paying attention to each one and placing it in our hearts, we're building love for Krishna, a palace of love for Krishna. And this one is very instructive because it shows how one can actually enter into and taste, get some ruchi, get some actual taste by this meditation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you remember, he's in half external consciousness. He's lying on the beach. He's looking at the sky and talking to no one and simply revealing what was in his dream all night long when he was in the ocean floating. So when we're chanting, we should allow ourselves to become absorbed in these things rather than all the other things that the mind can gravitate toward. I love this pastime.
You know, there's a tape that I listened to over and over and over again. I've never gone through this kind of thing in all my years of being a devotee that I get stuck on one lecture of Srila Prabhupada in 1975 in Hawaii. It's filled with the most transcendental, everything he says is transcendental and filled with ecstasy, but this one, so many important points. And he also talks about this particular pastime of Lord Chaitanya, when he said that Lord Chaitanya did not manifest the sahaja feelings where, oh, I'm dancing with Krishna, I'm dancing with Krishna, I'm doing this. He demonstrated this kind of service attitude toward Krishna. You awakened me. I saw Krishna, not that I am dancing. Where are you, Radha? Where are you, gopis? Where are you, Krishna? I saw you, and then you have awakened me. He was angry at the devotees. We read it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was actually, why'd you bring me? Why'd you wake me up? I was there with Radha and Krishna. So this is the mood that we want to develop. This is why Lord Chaitanya came, to show us this mood of service attitude toward Krishna and the gopis. That's how we associate, is through the service attitude. Not that I'm going off to dance with Krishna. Of course, we dance with Krishna during the kirtan. We can dance with Krishna, but not with this mentality of I'm dancing with Krishna alone. And then we're not ready for that. And if we're ready for that, we certainly don't talk about it publicly. Hare Krishna. So there's one more last section, and everybody has read. Who would like to read this? Who would like to read? No answers. I think I'm going to read it. Oh, there's Mukunda. Mukunda, you want to read? Okay.
Have you read today? You want to read? Because you haven't read today.
I don't ever read. I'm going to read this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Suddenly, all of you created a great tumult and picked me up and brought me back here. Where now is the river Yamuna? Where is Vrindavan? Where is Krishna and the gopis? You have broken my happy dream. Speaking in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully returned to external consciousness. Seeing Swarup Damodar Goswami, the Lord questioned him. Why have you brought me here? He asked. Then Swarup Damodar answered him. You mistook the sea for the Yamuna river, he said, and you jumped in. You have been carried this far by the waves of the sea. This fisherman caught you in his net and rescued you from the water because because of your touch, he is now mad with ecstatic love for Krishna.
Another thing I just noticed, because we were talking about the benediction on this particular fisherman. Just imagine now, he heard this whole explanation. He watched Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveal it. It's not that he had gone home. He was still right there. Sorry to interrupt.
Wow.
No, that's wonderful.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, where are we? The
I think you're
fisherman
on
caught
before.
you in this net and rescued you from the water because of your touch. He is now mad with ecstatic love for Krishna, that touch. Throughout the night, we all walked about in search of you. After hearing from this fisherman, we came here and found you. While apparently unconscious, you witnessed the pastimes in Vrindavan. But when we saw you unconscious, we suffered great agony in our minds. When we chanted the holy name of Krishna, however, you came to semi-consciousness, and we have all been hearing you speak like a madman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in my dream, I went to Vrindavan, where I saw Lord Krishna perform the rasa dance with all the gopis. After sporting in the water, Krishna enjoyed a picnic. I can understand that after seeing this, I must certainly have talked like a madman. Thereafter, Swarup Damodar Goswami had Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathe in the sea, and then he very happily brought him back home. Thus, I have described the incident of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's falling into the ocean. Anyone who listens to this pastime will certainly attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Isn't that
Gora
wonderful?
Hari.
Oh, the Hari. God, that we're able to even hear these pastimes. This is so, I'm very grateful to this little group here because everyone is enthused to hear this. And that's the kind of association we want. Thank you. Okay. Anyone have anything that they'd like to share about this brochure? You want to sell us something? No?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, Babus, have a nice meditation.
Thank
to
you
see you
all
on
for your
Tuesday.
association. Hare Krishna.
Aye.
Manchakalpatarudascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.
Jai
Hari
Jagannath.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Yeah. So have a good week.